Okay, welcome everyone. This is Blerdy Professionals. I am your host, Joy Stevens, and I'll be moderating the ensuing conversation between the three people to my left, your right, as we talk about blending or combining your nerdy personal side and your professional side to make one happy camera. So I will start with the person to my left. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Christian Ruiz. I am currently a paralegal for the Supreme Law Firm, the best law firm in the world, headed by an amazing lead attorney. So I have been involved with cosplay, acting. I have started my own companies in terms of pushing my own hobbies. So I have a lot of experience in this field and when it comes to it.
I'm Angela D. Williams. I'm an attorney, the Supreme Attorney Online. And let's see, I think I'm most famous for mentioning Bleach in my opening statement in the YSL trial and got canceled by the legal community.
Hi, my name is Marc. I am a cosplay photographer and small YouTuber influencer on the internet.
Well, I'd like to start off. Actually, I'm going to come back to you because you just said I used Bleach in my opening statement at the YSL trial and got quote unquote canceled by the legal community because this panel is about blending,
Right.
hobbies and professions. So can you give us a little bit more background? Some people know the story, but some don't about what happened.
I love this. Okay, so there was a big trial in Atlanta, Fulton County. It happened to be about a rapper, and they're calling it his entourage, but it really wasn't. 28 co-defendants, there's like 12 of us that went to trial. By the time we actually started the trial, there was about 6 of us left, and we did opening statements. So for the opening statements for my client, I mentioned the anime Bleach, and I said that in the 5th or 6th season, they had the bounce arc, right? And the bounce arc was the stupidest arc. I will never watch Bleach again. Nobody asked for that.
Nobody.
But for some reason, I get mad every time I think about it. I am so sorry. I mean, it was nothing but fillers. And so I felt like Fulton County, the DA's office, was basically trying to make a point. And so they had a bunch of us there as filler characters to make Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, look horrible. And so I basically said me and my client were like the bounce. We're not needed. There's no reason for us. And they just needed a filler, which is why the trial lasted 22 months. And so when I mentioned Bleach, the people who actually watch anime and understand Bleach, they knew what I was talking about. Everybody else that didn't, which is a lot of people in the legal community, did not know what I was talking about. And they were like, why would you say that? That is not professional. I had a reason. There was actually a juror, because we gave them questionnaires, like 50-page questionnaire. And it was like, hey, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What do you do for fun? She literally wrote anime. So if somebody writes that their favorite thing to do is watch anime, I'm going to assume you know the big 3.
Right? You know Bleach.
Right. You know Bleach. I don't do Dragon Ball Z. Don't get me started on that one.
Please no.
And I haven't seen Naruto. But, I mean, out of the 3, somebody's seen one of the 3.
Right.
So I mentioned Bleach. It's super popular. So, yeah, I got canceled.
It's interesting, it's always been a tactic when you're trying to make a relation to somebody, because I was in sales for 18 years. And so when you're trying to relate to somebody, you find something you have in common and you bring it up.
Right.
And so you bring it up. That was perfect tactics if you are up on pop culture.
Exactly.
30 years ago, you might have made a reference to Alf,
Right.
or something else. But here we are making a reference to Bleach because that is what pop culture is on right now.
Right, because anime is now mainstream.
Very much so.
I was able to buy this at Walmart. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
the Inuyasha shirt at Walmart.
That's my husband.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. But I was able to buy this at Walmart. Before, I don't think you can even buy this at a Hot Topic.
Right.
I would have had to go on a website or something and find it from Japan to get it shipped. So it's becoming mainstream. Right. So I think it's easier to mix the two together, and I was able to do it.
Every one of us that was a kid with comic books or action figures or just a love of fantasy when we were young, we are now grown with jobs.
Right. We have adult money.
We got adult money with adult child hobbies. Right. Which brings me to you. So I would like you to please, you mentioned that you were into a lot of different things earlier. So Zorro, I assume, yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So yeah, like you were saying, how it comes to money, and that's really what motivated me in terms of finding things that I loved and finding ways to get money out of it. So in college, one of my biggest things to make money was background work. You know, I did a lot of backgrounding work, and I loved movies. That was a huge part of my life growing up, and so I found some way to make money out of that. Once I was done with backgrounding, I started a cosplay company.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Fortress of Cosplay with my lovely wife who's sitting out there. And we started a cosplay company, you know, and that was something that we really wanted to do at the time. It was very big and growing, and cosplay got me into backgrounding. I was sought out by some people who wanted to create some costumes for a TV show called The Resident, and my wife and I got into that. You know, after that, with comic books, I always loved comic books, and so I became a writer for a website called DC Comics News, where I would report on comic books. So my biggest push for people is becoming a super fan of something. I believe if you become a super fan of something, you will find some way to make money out of it. There is always an outlet or something in there that you can find to make money out of whatever fandom it is that you're really into.
That's how me and you connected too.
Yes, exactly. That's how I actually am in the current job that I currently am.
Because he started talking about anime. I was like, let's see if he's going to think I'm weird. And he was like, oh my God, I go too. I was like, ah!
It was that and then reality shows were our two.
Yes.
Find your people.
So you find your people. So I get along great with my boss because of, you know, we're able to understand each other a little better.
Yeah, that's true. He lets me be dorky. And he can be dorky too, and I love it.
Dorky is authentic. You know, being yourself, being the real you.
Yeah.
It makes you happier on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to share, if you don't mind, like how are you, or have you combined personal and professional?
So everybody knows me. I started out doing photography back, say, about 10, 11 years ago, and I was attending conventions like left and right, regardless, just because I'm a nerd at heart anyway. And one day I just kind of like had an epiphany, like, why am I taking pictures of brides and pretty dancers in little dresses and stuff, and I can just be taking pictures of cosplayers. Like, I go to all these cons, I'm always taking my phone out, let me get my camera gear and my lights and just start doing actual cosplay photography. And that's kind of where it started with me with Black Geeks of Dragon Con, I want to say back in 2015, 2016. They were doing one of their first shoots, and I happened to get like bombarded by a bunch of business cards from their street team at the time, and I was like, Black Geeks of Dragon Con sounds like something we need to be at. So I showed up with my camera, started taking pictures of blurry Power Rangers, and the rest has been history since then.
I love it. The running theme through all of this is, you know, I stepped out kind of on faith and decided to be my true self and discovered that it's okay. And it's a happy place. You can make a little money doing this. You can support yourself in some instances, or even if your quote unquote day job is something different, you can bring this aspect of yourself in with no real harm. You know, I mean, I know you said
A little
you
bit
got
of harm.
cancer,
A little bit of harm.
but you picked up a whole different following, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I mean, I did,
And they
because
don't
I
need
met
some legal
you.
advice
So,
eventually.
so that's the thing, because everybody's like, oh, I'm never going to need a lawyer. Like, it's not, okay, you have writers, so they need, I mean, don't you want me to read your contract?
Right.
People get into car accidents. It's in Atlanta. Don't you want me to like fight for money for you? Don't you want money? I like money. But people just assume like, oh, I don't want to know you, because they think if you're an attorney, it must mean like only criminal things.
Yeah.
And it's not only criminal.
No.
And we
The
love
estate
like
planning.
right,
Right.
which is hard. I do not do that.
Real estate.
Yeah, it's like a lot. Even immigration, it's like,
Yeah.
don't you like your favorite voice actors? Did you like them to come here? Guess what they need?
Green card. Visa, something.
Right, you need a visa. Like I know right now with the climate we're in now, and I know everybody loves K-pop. A lot of K-pop stars can't come over because the immigration laws got so tight. And you need what? An attorney. But everybody's like, no, I don't want to know you. I promise it's okay. I don't only do criminal.
Well, to that I say, I don't think it is that everybody don't want to know you, because again, like how we met, MomoCon last year.
Oh, yeah.
I work at a TV station overnight. That's my 9 to 5, and because I work at a TV station, I get a lot of news coverage. I work with a lot of nerds who just sit back and talk about nerdy things while we're making TV look like TV. So I'm able to just kind of geek out while I'm still at work. But one day I was at work cutting up the news. WANF, you should check it out. It's a very interesting channel to watch. And they were doing an article or a segment about, and this lawyer ruins her career by mentioning anime during her opening statement. And I was like, I'm intrigued. So it was just so funny because that night I was the one in charge of having to cover the news. I'm a supervisor, so normally I facilitate stuff. I don't have to do it. This night I was covering for somebody, so I'm cutting up the news and I'm watching, and I'm like, this is a month before MomoCon, and I'm taking notes. I'm like, I don't know who this Angela D. Williams person is, but if I see her, it's on. And then just so happened at MomoCon, you hit me up.
Because my videographer canceled on me.
Right, you hit me up because you need a videographer, and I just happened to do videography things, and you was asking me, so how much do you charge? I'm like, you can't ask me that in front of the director of press at MomoCon, so let's figure it out. But ever since then, I've been geeking out towards you, and I've been telling you, like, hey, geeks need lawyers too. We got contracts and all this other stuff. So I think you are the perfect person to be in a friend group.
But what did you think when you heard of an attorney mentioning anime? Did you think like, oh, that was stupid, or like that doesn't make sense, or why was this in like a corporate type of thing? Is she for real? Is this real? Is this a South Park episode?
I was thinking.
It's not the Chewbacca theory.
I literally thought this reality cannot be real. Because I'm like you watch like court shows and you see like the news clippings and things. Like, court is very boring. But when I'm like just out of nowhere, just earshot, a lawyer mentions Bleach, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, I'm intrigued. I don't even know. I didn't even care about the YSL trial at that time.
Nobody did. Unless you're like unless you're like a Young Thug fan, I feel like you didn't care about it. Yeah. And unless you're like a lawyer, because it took like, I think 11 months for us to pick a jury, nobody cared about it. Because everybody was like, okay, who cares?
Right.
But if you were a fan, or if you were just like, why is it taking so long? Those are the only people who care. Everybody else is just like, what?
Right.
So because
I
of that,
heard about the trial through you.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. Didn't care. Still don't.
Oh, you care now because I was in it.
Hi. You were the interesting part of the whole thing.
I heard about it when Marc actually was like, hey, we should interview her, and I'm like, what's her
Who is she? A nobody, a filler?
So I looked it up. I was like, yes. Tell her, ask her what time.
So long story short, 5 minutes of that, we got an interview with you, and we just made it happen, and it's like.
But did you think that was professional though?
Oh, that was the question.
Okay.
It was unorthodox.
You have something to say.
Yeah, as Angela's paralegal, we have helped out a lot of people that are geeky and a lot of people that are younger. So they don't have this. So one of the bigger things about Supreme Law Firm that Angela has kind of broken the mold on is that it's not the D. Williams Law Firm, right? You'll see, you drive through the streets and you'll see Morgan & Morgan, Hines, right?
I got canceled for that too.
That's what I was about to say. So because she's named herself the Supreme Lawyer, Supreme Law Firm, that's a break from tradition, right? Like most lawyers will use their last name for their firm. This firm is a newer, geekier firm, I think, and it helps people out. It does attract people and it does help people out. If someone is in a position where they're in trouble, I think they'd much rather talk to you if they can relate to you and have a great conversation than go to someone that doesn't understand them.
I agree. I kind of wish you were around when I had my car accident and I was doing all that litigation, and I had to go to Ken Nugent and Associates.
Oh, he's horrible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't recommend. But yeah,
horrible to work for too.
I wish I had come to you.
Oh, well.
I probably got more money out of my settlement too.
Probably, yeah, probably. I am not greedy at Supreme Law Firm. Plug.
If you, I don't know what y'all's logo or cards or whatever.
Oh, I have a chibi character. Wait, let me show you. I have a chibi character now.
I was just gonna say, if you
You
put,
saw it? Oh my god, I put it on my TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know I put it
And
on
I
my
put it in the
TikTok.
video too. I put it in the video too.
Oh my god, I didn't know. I put it on my TikTok for. I'll look at it later. I'm
she's
sorry.
dead serious.
I did not know. I put it on my TikTok.
Apparently,
She's cute. It's me. Thank you.
I was gonna say if you did a cartoonized version of all y'all as part of the marketing for market to the nerds,
Yeah.
That's why I say you may have been so and so canceled by people who have just misunderstood, but this is no longer some in the dungeon esoteric reference. This is standard pop culture at this point.
True.
Because they forget. I remember. I'm Gen X. I remember my parents thinking that as long as I watched cartoons, I wasn't grown.
Yeah.
And I was 35 and I'm still watching, but I'm 51 and I'm still watching cartoons, right? But you got to get away from the idea that it's just Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny.
Right. There's some
And
heavy
this
duty
is-
topics now.
I mean, have you
Yeah.
seen Attack on Titan? I mean,
Right.
there's a lot going
Genocide?
on. Right? But that misunderstanding is kind of a layer of disconnection between part of Gen X that is a part of that kind of hangs with the boomers and says,
Yeah.
this is for kids. And then the rest of Gen X is like, I mean, I was so excited when X-Men 97 came out because
Right.
I remembered all of this. So using those references is not unprofessional.
No.
It is something that they have not caught up with.
Right.
Because I distinctly remember being in a sales class since I was a salesperson, and the person doing the class had all these references, but the movie references he used were dated. They were like 1980s movies. And it worked in the 90s. It even worked in the early 2000s.
Not
but it's
anymore.
2010 right now, and the kids that are in this training class have never seen nor heard of any of these B movies you bringing up. I gave him that feedback. He didn't want to hear it. That's fine. But you know what?
Yeah.
His business started going down because he forgot he met me, and a few years later he asked me if I could help him out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Maybe if you would change your movie references like I told you to.
It's the first thing you should have sent them back.
Right?
Exactly. That's how law school is too, because they keep using movie references from like a long time ago.
Right.
And I don't know that.
Right.
I know some of them, of course, because Netflix and everything, but I didn't grow up with it, so no, I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, like even in YSL, the guy was like, yeah, Boys in the Hood, Boys to Men, Boys in the Hood, Boys in the
Two
Hood.
very different things.
Okay.
Right.
I want to say it was Boys in the Hood.
The movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and Menace to Society.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the two come from.
My client was 18 years old. Do you think he's heard of that? I barely heard of it. I didn't grow up with that.
Right.
That's
Boys
what I was
in the
like.
Hood was 24 years ago, give
Yeah.
or take.
Yeah, see? So I was like, I think little when it came out. So of course I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Right.
So, but he kept bringing it up. My client was like, what is he talking about? I was like, why are you asking me? I don't know. But a lot of the older attorneys, they knew, but they didn't know Bleach.
Oh.
So that's kind of, I guess, a question is, if we can reference a lot of pop culture movies and shows, why not animation?
That's a good question. Somebody answer that, Mark. Christian?
I would like to piggyback on what
Please do.
Joyce said. I think it's because a lot of people, especially in society, just think it's a cartoon, it's automatically for kids, but that is not the case anymore. Even something that is for kids, like look at Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's a show for kids, but that's about war and the conflicts of like losing loved ones and family members and like betraying your own nation and things like that. Look at something like we mentioned Attack on Titan. That's not for kids, but like look at the culture of Japan and how they view, say, animation versus, say, the US or Korea or China or French for that matter.
Yeah.
The US or the West is the one where, oh, it's a cartoon, it's for kids automatically, and anyone just automatically puts that in that category and not looking at the nuance of what's in this field. Like, there's Sausage Party. That's an animation. I would
made
not
that
let my
mistake.
kids watch that.
Yeah, I remember a lot of adults let their
Yeah,
kids
like
watch it. I
kids.
was like, don't let your kid watch this. And then I have a friend, she has he's grown now, but when he was little, he used to watch anime. She's like, I don't watch anime. And I think he went to watch Berserk. And he was like 10. I was like, do not let him watch that. She was like, oh, it's just a cartoon. I was like, do not let him watch that. I was like, let him grow up. Do not let him watch that.
No, and it's the same thing they did with video games. They're like, oh, well, it's a video game for my
yeah.
kid. I know you see this that says 13 and up. I know you see this that says
Street Fighter and Mortal
17
Kombat
up.
were the biggest two.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The Disney, what was it? Nintendo had no blood, and Sony and Game and Xbox had blood, I
Right.
believe. But I remember the big hot coffee problem with Grand Theft Auto. Remember there was a mini game.
Yeah, it
in
was
Grand Theft
hot
Auto
coffee,
where,
yeah.
You know, if you did this
the
girl
mini.
right, you know, she would invite you over for
Yeah.
hot coffee.
I
For hot
remember
coffee. Yeah, of course.
I couldn't play
Mini
Grand
game.
Theft Auto. Oh my god.
And it's not in the game. You had to have known what to do and what to press.
Yeah, it was a special combination you had to do. Yeah.
And of course, it made it around the forums, and adults are saying, "Hey, you know, you can do these things." But then the kids who shouldn't have been playing the game in the first place found out about it, started doing it. Parents would be like, "Oh my God, my child is being abused by this video game that I bought them. Why'd you buy it? It says on the front of the thing,
Grand Theft
teen
Auto.
or 17 and up. Grand Theft. It's about robbing and killing.
It's a
You was
felony.
okay with-
It's a literal
you okay
felony
with
in the
violence.
title.
But the minute there's sex in it, you got a problem, and that's a whole nother problem in America that I don't have time to
Did
get
not
into.
think about that. You're right.
Everybody's fine with violence, but when you get into sex, all of a sudden everybody wants
It's
to
a
save the
no-go.
children.
Yeah.
Yep. Unless he's getting married at 14 in Alabama, but that's another story.
I think it's just how we're trained to be conditioned in this country and think about certain things. Again, going back to the current political climate, it just seems like the people who are in charge are just getting to choose what's right and what's wrong, and we're just at conflict as a society of who do we believe, what do we believe.
Yeah, I think things are slowly changing though. We do see things like Netflix is getting into anime, right?
Right.
So like that would be the equivalent of like CBS or NBC or someone like that putting an anime show on. Like things slowly will change, and I think by the time we're adults and. Well, I guess we are adults, but yes, we are adults. But I guess when
That's
we're
your whole baby over here.
Right. With your grown wife.
she's very loud, yes. No, but as things change, I think anime will become more mainstream. So I think those things will change. Of like you will be able to reference that, and as time's gone, is like when we're the teachers, we're the ones making those lessons plans. Then I think we will be putting those things in there.
So like the millennials are now being able to make decisions now.
Essentially,
They're not just
yeah.
getting in there.
I think that's a big part of it. Of like I've seen that. I think in our generation, we're the generation that's continuing to buy toys.
Yes.
Right? Toys are still being bought. Animation studios are going better than they ever have before. Why? Because we still like to watch cartoons. We just
Because
do.
let them do another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I'm buying all of it.
Yeah. And, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we now have the income, and it goes back to like of being in the fandom. You may end up spending everything that you make back into it.
Have you seen my car?
Yeah, have you seen your car? But you now, as we're now older, we do have the money to spend on the things and buy the things that we've always wanted to have.
That's true.
I want to piggyback off that because I was about to say that you're right. We are now the same kids that wanted those toys that our parents was like, you can't have that till you get good grades.
I don't need a hot
I don't
dog.
need good grades. I got my own money.
Yes.
So if my landlord is watching, that's gonna be a little late because I did 2 cons back to back. I'm sorry, but I bought some stuff to make my house look pretty.
Well, if you need an attorney, I got you. I do landlord tenant too.
Ooh, my landlord in trouble. All right.
Connections being made here.
See, it's good to know an attorney no matter what.
Always good to know.
But I remember we were talking, and like, what profession would you not want to see like somebody mentioning anime or mainstream?
A doctor.
Doctor?
Yeah, I don't want anybody coming up to me and wanting to do some Akira stuff or anything like that. I don't want any doctor knowing any anime thing.
I'm gonna go anyone that works in the Pentagon or in government.
But if they've seen Attack on Titan, they might understand the repercussions of what they're doing.
They might be on the other side.
No, they
though.
might want to start making giant Gundams military vehicles.
Not G.I. Joe.
They're already doing that.
I know, but still.
I mean, I would be okay with it, depending. Like, if I have, knock on wood, this is wood. Like, if I have cancer, I don't want my doctor to talk about anime about cancer.
Yeah.
But if they were trying to make a connection with me, just talk about just regular, like, what they like and stuff, I'd be like, oh, I can feel more comfortable.
But what if the doctor's making, like, Magic School Bus references?
Well, I know he knows the body thanks to the teacher.
Right.
So I'm happy he grew up on
you
that.
heard the anime cells at work?
Yes. If they would have explained something to me like that, I'd be like, oh, like that, sure. But I guess
okay, tell me the difference here then. You say you don't want them to reference anime if they're your doctor, but if they explain something to you using
that's
anime,
fine. Yes.
okay. What is the difference there?
I don't want them to be like, you're dying. Do you remember Attack on Titan when he? Huh? Right. That's how you're gonna die. Whoa. Okay. So like context. So if you're explaining something to me, break it down. Like, go to the Magic School Bus. Yes. Are you going up my butthole? Cool. Explain that to me. Just like the teacher would.
Everybody remembers from Magic.
Because it went viral on TikTok. So, like, if you explain it to me like that, sure. But if I'm dying, just don't.
So if you want to just talk anime and not do your job, that's different versus using anime as a reference for a point. Yeah.
If it's like a reference point, sure. But if it's like I'm dying, do not use
you not want to talk about the vagaries of
Korra
versus
because now you're gonna ruin it for me. You're like, you know how Lord Shishomiri lost his arm? Yeah, you too, and it's not coming back.
Oh,
I would be upset and like I need to call my lawyer.
Call me. I handle that too. Personal injury.
I will say this. So I work at a TV station, and like we do nothing but talk about nerd stuff all the time. But then there are points where I'm like, "Can y'all shut up, please?" There's a station that is black. Can y'all shut up for 5 seconds so we can figure this out and we can go back and talk about the last Marvel thing?
Right. Like I guess when 9/11 happened, I probably did want an anime reference at that time to explain to me what was happening. But like maybe a year or two later, if you made an anime about it, I'd be like, "Is that what happened?" Okay, but not as it's happening because we are all very much confused.
Wait, are you putting out there that you want to see a 9/11 anime?
They don't have one already? I'd be shocked if they don't have one. Do they not have one?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I'm surprised.
It's one of those like one of those third rail type of things. Like, you know, too many people like will never get over it. We don't want to see a characterization of it.
Right.
And then for some people, depending on if it's not factual, it's going to offend some group, and if it is factual, it's going to hurt another group that remembers that. So I can see why they leave it alone.
Okay, I'm surprised because Japan's always like, screw y'all.
Well, Japan's a whole different country.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm surprised they don't have it already.
Doing like stuff like, you know, caring for people. Building infrastructure, living in the future.
Right? I'm surprised. I thought Japan would have been like, oh, America has a problem. Watch this. We're going to make money off of your sorrow.
It might be out there.
It might be out there.
See?
It may be over there. The U.S. may not have allowed it to come.
Right.
You know what? I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see
maybe
that.
They don't call it the Twin Towers. Maybe they call it the double tall buildings.
Like, no. This is a fake place. It's not you. Don't worry.
It's in Genosha. You know.
Right. Americans don't know geography, right? Got it.
Right.
It was Bosnia.
Because where is that?
Right. I did Carmen San Diego.
And another anime reference right there.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
I want to talk to y'all about one other thing, because we mentioned, we kind of talked around it, like, you know, as pop culture changes and different references changes, but at the same time, even in previous generations of workspaces, you could be watching Jefferson's, Archie Bunker, you know, Father Knows Best. You weren't really going to talk about that at work because the workforce looked different. In the pre-1948, 1955, it was mainly men. You know, then you had women coming into the workforce, then you had people of color showing up like, hey, you know, so now the demographics have changed. People's interests have changed. And as anime moved from, you know, the back wall at Blockbuster Video to being available on Netflix on demand and all of that, more people watching, then they discovered that this is just another form of storytelling. It's really good. It's not just cutesy cartoons with, you know, pink fluffy animals. I mean, especially coming from certain genres of anime, it's about taking care of each other, using teamwork, learning to work with your enemies sometimes, power of friendship, children saving the world, you know. Meanwhile, other cartoons are, you know, telling fart jokes. So
Family Guy.
What do you want your kids to watch?
That's true.
But I do think that when we talk about being authentic and by bringing your personal hobbies to work, it's not just the geek stuff that is coming to work. Everybody's personal hobbies are coming to work because people in general are more likely to share of themselves, things that they do outside of work. Like, you know, you hear about people doing like antiquing and going hiking or getting a knitting club or doing like pottery, like whatever it is they might be into, they can share. And it's no matter what your hobby is going to sound exotic to somebody else because they don't do that.
That's true.
And anime and video games and cosplay is just another hobby, you know? And the more we talk about it, the more we discover you've been doing it and didn't tell anybody. I've been doing it and didn't tell anybody.
I
we
tell
all
the
show
world.
up at Dragon Con like, oh! You know? So share your
That's
gifts.
true. Yeah, and I see like a lot of people still in certain communities, they're like, oh, as soon as I start a job, I block everybody from their social medias. I'm like, how do you make friends then? Because I feel like if you're around these people like all the time, I still don't understand that logic.
I also say that if you have to hide part of who you are from someone, why are they in your circle? Why are they in your life?
Yeah.
And even at work, if you gotta hide who you are from the people you work with, you're in the wrong spot.
I wouldn't want to work there.
Right. And that's another decision that a lot of people are making nowadays that they didn't make 30 years ago. You just got a job and lived with it.
Yeah.
That's what everybody was telling me because I started off as a public defender and I wasn't fitting to the mold that they wanted me to fit. And so I went to another law firm and he kind of let me do whatever I wanted, but I had too much freedom. I was a new attorney. I was like, I can't do this. And then I was like, well, I might as well just do it on my own because I was basically doing it on my own anyway. So I started my own law firm. And that's what he was talking about, because I call myself the Supreme Law Firm. Do you know how many texts and messages I got? You can't call yourself that.
Why not?
I looked it up on the bar rules. Yes, I can. They're like, that's not professional. I'm like, why is it not professional? Why do I have to have my name?
Seriously, let's talk about that. Why isn't the Supreme Attorney professional? The Supreme Court, it makes sense to me that lawyers would want to go that route. I know traditionally lawyers do the first and last name.
Yeah.
But like, come on, it's in the legal system already. Why is it not professional? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, this is just one of those things that there is no rule against it, right? There's nothing that says that you cannot do it. However, it has just been the norm and respected amongst other attorneys that this is what everyone does. Our generation isn't like that. We like to break the rules and sort of make ourselves stand out. She's the only one with this name that I have seen, and it sticks in people's mind better than it would a name. So I think it's a better strategy. It's just the way things are changing, and I think you've done a great job with it.
Oh my God, thank you.
Because I was even telling you when you was making the chibi logo, I was like, it needs to be Supreme Attorney at law and all this, and it's like grandiose. And you took all my advice. The logo's amazing.
Because he basically made it.
Good.
I mean, basically. I went on, what's it called, Fiverr?
Yeah, Fiverr.
I went on Fiverr, and I was like, what do you think? I kept sending him everything. He was like, change this, change that, change this.
Nice.
So he basically curated it. So, yeah. I'm thankful for that.
Work together for the betterment of us all.
Exactly. Because I do barter my services if you have something I want.
One of the biggest things I think, like for advice for nerds out there, if you're having a little bit of like not wanting to get out of your shell, one of the best ways that I have found people at work that are sort of like that also, anime person, is on casual Fridays, wear an anime shirt. If you're into wrestling, wear a wrestling shirt. That has been the biggest thing, because people who you never thought were into the stuff would come up to you and be like, hey, you like that? Oh my God, I'm also into, and you'll find all these people throughout work. Never in like the last 6 jobs that I've had, at least one person has been into the same fandoms that I have.
That's true. A shirt does go a long way.
A shirt goes a long way.
I have a funny story about that. So again, I work at Corporate America TV station, and we have these meetings. I call them waste of times.
It's a meeting.
It's a waste of time. But
when you go back to work, tell them this is a bounce meeting. We're gonna start that trend. This is bounce material. Yes.
But right, exactly.
It's so much better as an email.
As a matter of fact, I said this because, like, again, I work overnight, so like when we have to be mandated to go to meetings and physically be there, I'm like, you sure you want me there? Because y'all know how I am. I'm gonna put on what I feel comfortable. I'm gonna dress how I feel comfortable. I'm not a suit and tie person. And they was like, yeah, just come to the meeting. Cool, 4-day meeting. 4 days we was in meeting.
4 days?
4 days. And 4 days I had my best geek attire on.
Nice.
And for 4 days straight, I didn't know you like Marvel. Power Rangers? Do you think that's professional for work? And I'm like, we work at a TV station. Power Rangers come on TV. What are you talking about?
Wait, did somebody pull you into the office though? Or like, this is not appropriate?
They were trying to, but I was like, y'all wear baseball caps with sports team, and when the Braves playing, everyone's wearing Braves jerseys. Why can't I wear a nerd shirt? Like, we're all nerds. Like, I've seen half of y'all at Dragon Con. It's kind of why I fight to get Dragon Con off, because y'all gonna beat me to BTO. So, So like, don't tell me like we in this building and we can't just be ourselves. Like, why do I have to wear a suit and tie to meet the VP who's also into anime too? Granted, he's like 67 years old, he's the big boss, but he's like anime too. We had a great conversation. Would have never had that conversation if I just dressed like everybody else.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about is that or is that not professional? The concept of professional as it is used in that context is usually oppressive, because they're telling you that what they don't like or what is not the conforming prevalent posture or outfit or whatever, and you look like you having too much fun. That's always a piece of it. You look like you're having too much fun. You look too comfortable. Comfortable is unprofessional, right? Which is why, I mean, the reason we have Casual Fridays is a long story surviving some surplus t-shirts in Hawaii, and they made everybody wear them on Fridays so they could get them out of inventory. That's how I got started. Okay. Yeah, Casual Shirt Friday turned into Casual Friday, turned into Jeans Friday, all because of some surplus in Hawaii.
Wow.
So now,
okay, HR, come through.
but when we think about the things that have morphed over time, when you tell somebody, say, take whatever to the next level, that's gamer talk. When you talk about getting to the next level, that is gamer talk. You talk about, I'm about to level up.
So the leveling mentioned,
right?
Locking in.
Right? People run around saying, so-and-so is my bias.
Yes.
That is K-pop and K-drama talk, right? There's a lot of things that have seeped into not just mainstream, but into our lexicon, into our language.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't even think about that. But there's only there's a certain community that tore me down the most. Because, of course, I mentioned Bleach, but I also had braids. That was a whole Discord.
Yeah.
And then I had red braids. And that just made them lose their minds. And that's why I was getting canceled by a certain group. And I'm just not really allowed in that group anymore.
Okay.
I just got canceled all the way out.
They'll be all right.
I think so. I'm still okay.
So in the court of law, braids are unprofessional?
Apparently it is. I didn't know that. I looked at all the rules. I made sure I was good. And they were like,
once again, this is an oppression thing because we are still in the process of trying to pass the Crown Act,
right,
which would require people not to discriminate specifically against women of color because they tend to be the ones that have more creative hairstyles. But making braids or dreads or locks or anything that is something they don't like because it's not unhealthy, it's not dirty, it's not unkempt, any of those other words. It's just something different that you don't understand.
And you can't do it.
And you can't do it.
I mean, you can,
Right.
but it won't look as good.
Well, that's the funny thing is when you see someone whose hair typically is very straight, when they try to lock it up, they usually have to use gel and leave it matted and don't wash it, etc. So they assume that about us. My hair locks up a few minutes after I get out the shower, right? If I'm not careful. But my point being, none of this takes away my degrees. None of it takes away my expertise, my experience, my knowledge, my ability to share my information. None of that is dependent on what my hair looks like. And people try to make it seem like because they don't like your hair, you don't know your job.
Yep.
Those two things do not go together.
They do not correlate.
And so your red braids were totally fine. It matched the it matched the aesthetic of the people that you were trying to be in contact with.
Exactly.
It very much was. But like I said, it was just a certain demographic that didn't like it.
You can name the demographic.
I'm not gonna name the demographic. But the demographic was like, no. And whenever I go places, they don't really want to talk to me, but they realize that I know certain people. They're like, wait, come back. I'm like, I'm good.
Does this demographic spend a lot of time not burning in the sun?
Oh, they spend a lot of time in the sun.
Burning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, actually, they're not burning.
Do they have more than 2 seasonings in their kitchen cabinets?
They do.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Then I have no idea who you're talking about. You don't have to name drop.
I'm not name dropping.
But I do want to say something just from my own personal experience, especially like with the hair thing. So I'm going through my lock journey. I had the ugly lock phase, and now I'm finally comfortable. Like, all right,
Now
I'm
you
going
have
to work.
hang time.
Right? Yeah, I got hang time. I can do this, and I couldn't do that before. Before it was just like stick around and
The humbling phase.
right. It was humbling. But at work, again, I work overnight, and you work with a lot of different personality types. And I had one of my subordinates, again, I'm a supervisor, come up to me and was like, I don't think it's professional that your hair looks like that and you wear do-rags. Do-rags are very dangerous. And I was like, what is a
Do-rags are
do-rag?
dangerous.
What is this? What is a do-rag? What is
Well,
it for
those
exactly?
have all the balls, so that could be dangerous if you get all 7 of them.
That's what I said. Like, this is only dangerous if I get all 7 Dragon Balls and some Shinron. Then you're going to have to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk
Maybe
bad
you
about my
should do that.
supervisor.
Yeah.
But I had to explain to them, this is just something that covers my head. It's just a hair thing. It's only negative because of the societal aspects and
Look at
how
put on,
society
yeah.
looks at it. Like, yeah, you look at a rap video and you see Young Thug. I don't know why we keep talking about him, but like you watch a Young Thug video and you go back and look at how I'm dressed. You're like, oh, well, you're unprofessional. Like, no,
But
this
wait,
is my
it's in K-pop
culture.
now too. Yes,
That's
Stray
a-
Kids,
that's a
they wear.
conversation for another
Okay, well,
day.
They will throw a scarf on their head. For
they
you.
will,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's just like, is that a do-rag? And it
But,
was
you know,
nice.
think about how many. Remember the trend of the wave reveal, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
Why that all of that starts with a do rag because you have to let
Right.
it dry with the do rag on and then do the wave reveal. But that somehow didn't catch on as much as the association of do rags with Menace to Society or what have you.
Yeah,
It's not
which is
fair.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
saw way more wave reveals than I ever did movies with do rags in them.
I didn't even know the do-rag was doing all that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, the do rag is amazing.
Yeah,
It
I
is-
saw when I saw
it
the
is a
waves.
barbershop tool to
Right.
help get waves in your head.
But then I did wonder sometimes because the do-rag stayed on all the time. I was like, so when do you take it off?
Yeah, they
I'm
probably
just
said
kinda curious.
You should take it off and wash it with the rest of your laundry.
Because I always see it on, so I was like, so when do you take it? I'm making my waves. I'm like, and how long does it take? So that was like my only question.
But yeah, getting back to.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I just had to explain to my coworker, like, hey, like how you wear baseball caps. This is just a hat, something that protects my hair.
It's the team that I like.
Yeah, it's the team I like. It represents not only my culture but my nerdiness, and I like rocking it because I go to work rocking something nerdy all the time. Dragon Ball Z do-rags or Dragon Ball Z shirt. I'm very proud of Vegeta right now because of Super Saiyan 3.
Nobody
So I've
cares.
been.
Shots fired.
I need
don't
an
know
attorney
why.
for my attorney. But yeah, I just had to explain to him like, hey, it's only negative because you have this negative connotation towards these things. But if you grew up within the diaspora and the culture, you would understand, and it wouldn't be a question in your mouth of why I'm wearing this when I'm coming to work at night with a hoodie on, and it's like the middle of December, it's cold. Like I'm just dressing to be comfortable.
Now, would you wear something like that if you had to go like meet potential sponsors?
Ooh, so that's where I was getting at with the story. So we are here at ASFE, Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo, and I had like a good 20-minute conversation with my associate who's with me, helping me shoot, just because I'm like, it's unprofessional for me to be interviewing Dr. Glenn Paris, and I got a do-rag on, or Tasha Scott, or Carrie Means, and he was like, no, this is a nerd con. Everybody's in nerd gear. Carrie Means is literally cosplaying as Frylog, which is the character he voices. So you're kind of right in your element to look nerdy and get away with it on a professional level, because I'm very skilled at doing interviews.
Right.
I've been doing that for so many long. Everybody here at the convention knows who I am and stuff like that. So this was a time for me, like a proving ground for me, like, hey, it's okay to be nerdy in these nerdy situations and be a little hood too, because you're still professional and
You have
coming
no
off.
hood in you, but okay.
Why?
Anyway.
Why?
Why?
Because I know he doesn't have hood in him. I can just tell.
No.
I feel like that's judgmental.
No, because I know him personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
If I just look at him, I wouldn't know.
You don't know me that well.
You were not hood.
I'm from Zone 3.
I don't know what that means. I'm just
Calm
kidding. I
down.
learned that from YSL.
Order.
Oh my God, isn't that Cleveland Avenue?
No.
Oh, I was like, oh, you're the hood.
No, that's we'll talk about that after the meeting. I'll show you Atlanta.
So, to bring it all back around,
Wait, but back to the sponsors. If you had like sponsors, you had to go to like an actual place, not like the nerdy convention, but like your TV sponsors, like for your job. Would you wear your nerdy gear?
Yeah, because I feel like you're coming to me to sponsor me because of what I build. I build Blerdography.
Not you.
Oh,
At your TV station. At the TV station
that's
you work
not my
at.
job. That's not my job.
But that is your job.
I'm a supervisor. I don't go. That's a whole different department, marketing team that goes out and gets sponsorships and
Right.
stuff like that.
so he's got a point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In his role, he would never be exposed
Right.
to those partners.
Okay,
And
that
I
makes
wanted to
sense.
address what you're talking about. So, would you, specifically about the do-rag, would you go to like a meeting with potential investors of your company wearing a do-rag? Probably not. But you also wouldn't go wearing a baseball cap.
Would not. No, you're
Right.
right.
But-
And
I
so
would
the
do my
idea that
research. Right.
it's not just the do-rag that is unprofessional in that moment. The baseball cap is equally as too casual for a meeting with your investors. Not just the do-rag, but people tend to associate the do-rag with different melanated skin tones and say that it's somehow worse. But you wouldn't wear a baseball cap. The reason I bring this up is a lot of younger black people like to say that we're playing respectability politics if we say don't wear a do-rag to an investors meeting. I would tell anyone else, don't wear a baseball cap. Don't wear a bonnet.
wear a jersey.
Don't wear a jersey.
Yeah.
Think about the person that you are trying to convince to invest in you and what they would like to see. It's not about selling out. It's about relating to that person. Now, if you're meeting with someone that you know is going to show up in jeans and a varsity jacket, you can wear what you want. But if they're going to come to the meeting in suits and ties, you want to meet them with their language, right? And so that is, but some people see like, I'm selling out, I'm not being true to myself. Would you go to your mother's funeral in a do-rag? That's what I thought.
Some do. But I get where you're coming at, but like to your argument, I say, what about billionaires like Elon Musk who are basically running the country
But he's
in
not-
Elon is
t-shirts
not
and
asking
jeans?
anybody
Right.
for
He's not
investment
asking for
capital.
money.
Right.
He's not.
Well, yeah.
But he's already a billionaire. Like if you don't have anything and you're asking somebody to invest in you, there's a level of trust you got to build quickly. If you already have billions of dollars, you are kind of in a I work with me or don't position, and he already has I hate him, so let me get that straight. But he already has the clout, the position, the title. You didn't say the CEO of Tesla, whatever his name is. You said Elon. There's already a name there. If Oprah came to you and said she wanted you to invest with her, she could roll up in sweatpants if she wanted to.
That's true.
She's already Oprah Winfrey.
If you say no, it'd be like, I'll do it myself. I don't care.
Exactly. I was trying to help you out. Right.
Angela knows that I'm a suit and guy type of guy. Everywhere that we go for court or anything like that.
So he speaks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. So sometimes he comes with me to court, and I'll dress. Well, I think it's professional. But
you do.
They'll swear he's the attorney.
Just because of the perception, right?
That's a whole nother thing.
So, but that's my style. I'm a suit and tie type of guy. I've loved it. Even when I'm in a suit and tie with Angela, I still have geeky thing. I have a lapel pin from an anime that's from an attorney that sort of represents, my exactly. So I have that lapel pin. That's part of my, everyday outfit. I was a comic book rater for a little bit, where I rated comic books and when celebrities signed them, I did the witnessing and signed it for them. So one of the first times I did it in a suit and tie, just as my own personal. That's what I liked. And we got this book signed by a wrestler named Mick Foley. And he thought that I was getting the book signed for myself, and I said, no, I'm just here to witness it. And he said, you are the best dressed guy I've ever seen do this. Typically they come up with sandwich in their mouth or something like that. So it's really up to you. It's whatever you want to do, right? It's like, that's my style. I love to wear a suit and tie, and that's me, but I'll still keep it geeky. If he likes what he likes, then that's what he likes. But you're right, absolutely. I wouldn't walk into an investor meeting with a baseball hat, but absolutely, there's still ways to do suit and tie and keep it extremely geeky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't meet my clients in an Inuyasha hoodie.
Exactly.
Not for the first time, but after a while, I'm like, you know me now.
Yeah.
Once you build that trust, once you establish a relationship and they know you, then you can reveal more and more pieces of yourself.
Right.
You don't have to keep it hidden forever,
Right. Well, I had the red hair. The red hair is coming, so.
The red hair is coming.
So either you like it or you don't. Go get another attorney. That's fine.
I just wanted to know, do you have something else to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess for me, because my opinion is different than the three y'all's. I am accept me as I am, who I am type of person, and then once we get business done, sure, I don't have a problem dressing up, doing all this and that, because I have those, but first impression, you gotta accept me for me. That's just how I am. And I do understand the nuance of business, and sometimes you gotta go out there dressed to impress and things like that, and I do those things, but I hate doing those things. I rather, I met you at a geek space, and here we are almost a year later.
It feels like so much longer.
Yeah, I feel like I've known
not
you
in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
That. I really, we have a connection where it feels like we've known each other for 20 years.
Right?
It's only been 11 months.
Which is crazy. Huh.
She says you wasn't hood after 11 months.
He's not.
Wow. I thought this was like friendship from high school or something. She's
I'm
like,
new here.
Last year already.
No, we're new here. Yeah, no. He's not hood.
Wow. 10 toes down.
Because I've seen boys in the hood because of YSL, and he is not a boy in the hood. Ha.
You watch Boys in the Hood because of what?
Because of YSL, because they made an expert. He was a gang expert because he watched YSL. He watched Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, and he listens to rap.
That made him
an expert.
Not actually speak to any police officer or
actual gang members
from a gangland area.
So my daughter has seen both those movies.
Oh,
actually.
she is a gang expert. I mean, he was a cop.
She listens to a lot of rap.
But that's what he used as a qualifier. Like, I'm a cop and I watch this. I was like, so you watch fiction,
right?
And now you're an expert. In Inuyasha, I have some words. I am the expert on wolf and human hybrids. Right? Because I have watched Inuyasha, the whole series, and I know about his father. I know about Lil Shishomaru, so I am an expert. I'm basically a veterinarian.
I'm vet.
The audacity. I can't believe
I would like to know if we have any questions from the audience, or are we just all off the rails up here.
We're just enjoying this ride.
I told you it's like Angie. I love this.
Right.
I love this.
So my question, I guess you can say, is a lot of corporations, places are asking, bring your authentic self to work.
Ish.
Yes. But then we have the issue of the Crown Act and several other aspects. how do you answer to, as far as people that are trying to navigate, especially the younger generation, of how to navigate that I can bring my authentic self, but basically
The ish. Well, I know, like, for when I was in court during YSL, I used to wear earrings that came from Spy Family. So they were earrings that Yor would wear. Nobody would know that unless they actually know the anime. But everybody was like, oh my God, I love your earrings. I was like, you like anime, but you didn't even know it.
Right.
So I do like little things. I feel like men can wear like the cufflinks.
Yeah.
And they can have anime stuff on it, but people wouldn't know it. They just go, oh, those are nice, because they just assume
exactly.
it's custom.
I've seen like
so.
Youth Village cufflinks.
Right.
From Naruto, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
I was
so-
telling you, I have the badge from the anime show, so you can do professional,
Yeah.
very, very geeky.
And
very
people just
easily.
assume like, oh, they must have style and do.
Yeah.
I want to address the rest of your questions. Though.
Sorry.
We talked about people coming to work. State it again so I can make sure I get it right.
So basically, you're being told to bring your authentic self to work,
But they may not be ready for that.
yeah, because then you have the things of like Crown Act in certain states and things like that, but you're still asking me to bring my authentic self to work.
Right.
How can someone navigate that to appease the bring yourself to work, but you still have to stay within these boundaries of both your geekiness, your hobbies, but then also your natural self.
So the other thing that I do when I'm not up here on a panel or something like this, I am a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant for corporate America. I deal with this particular question all the time, which is why I want to make sure I got this right. So if you are moving into a workspace, whether it's Sbarro or, Morgan Chase, whatever you're getting into, be who you are on day one. Be who you are in the interview. And a lot of people won't do this. They'll interview for a particular job because they want the job, and they'll contort themselves into what they think the interviewee or interviewer wants to see. They're hiring this thing you made up. They're not hiring you, and now you're going to be miserable in this job, or you can never be yourself because you started off with a lie. Be yourself in the interview. The job that is for you will come to you. I promise that. Now, that being said, personal branding. If you want people to see you a certain way, be that way and be consistent with it. Trust is built through consistency and reliability. If someone sees you and you say, I'm big into anime and they are big into video games or whatever, and every Tuesday you get geeked because it's a new season of Diablo or it's the new season of Solo Leveling, they know that about you because you've been that way from day one. If you come in saying, oh, I would never, and I don't drink, and I don't this, and I'm very demure, very mindful and all of this, and then the next thing you know, they see a picture of you on your own Instagram, in a cat girl outfit, what is this?
Orleans turning up.
Right.
No, are the people who have locks and then they wear wigs to the interview,
Oh wow.
and then they take it
Then
off
they talk
like
about
a
locks.
week or two later, and it's
Right.
like way down here. It's like,
And then they want, because I hear about this too, then they want to file some sort of like discrimination suit.
Yes.
They remarked about me changing my hair. Why was your hair different in the first place?
Right.
I'm not saying you can't change it up, but to present something that presents a certain way and then to switch it, you are damaging the trust that they have in you because you now are doing something inconsistent with what you've been before.
and they're allowed to discriminate against you if you do have locks. So do you really want to work there?
Right. Do you want to work? That goes back to what did you contort yourself into when you tried to apply for the job? So wherever you go, be your authentic self. You don't have to show up day one in like your, Squishmallow pajamas or whatnot. You don't have to cosplay to the interview.
I did not have to dress like your, just
Right.
the earrings.
So, during casual conversation, and, as you say, tell me a little bit about yourself. That's the time to say, look, I'm a gamer. I'm into anime. I like K-pop. These are the kind of things I do on the weekends for hobbies. And you can even say, and through K-pop, I discovered Stray Kids, and I think that their leader Bang Chan is the best. And blah, blah,
And
blah.
he is.
Yes, he is the
Yes,
best.
he is.
He's
Oh
the
my
best.
God.
I have
Yes,
a whole
hey,
presentation
Han.
about how
Oh my
Chan is,
God. Really?
Bang Chan. Yes.
I like Han. Oh, those cheeks. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh
Well
my
done.
God.
Sounds like
Yes.
a panel from Momo.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
Sounds like a different
Oh,
panel.
and I was trying to do the Felix effect on him, and it didn't work.
It didn't work?
That's what. See, I told you. And I did it to Carnell. I did
Carnell.
Carnell too. It didn't work on him. I was like, what is wrong with you?
I think that you just shouldn't have prepared. You shouldn't have told him. She just showed it and didn't say anything.
Oh.
But going back to
I
what
messed
was I
up.
talking about? So
Sorry.
the thing about being yourself at work, if you're yourself from day one, the work that the roles that you have, the culture that you're around, the people that you're around will be something that likes you for who you are. If they hire, who you show them is really you. If you go into something not being yourself, they hired your representative, and about 90 days from now, you're gonna be tired of doing this, and they're gonna be wondering why you switched up. That's a recipe for disaster, but that is dependent on you and your actions. And we got to stop thinking that the first job that offers us, a little salary is the job for the rest of our lives. It may not, the first thing that you get offered might be the right thing for you. Go to the next thing until you find some people that like you for who you really are.
If they don't like you, start your own business.
That part.
That's some good advice.
Yeah. That's probably one of the best
to
things that Obamacare brought to the United States is the ability to have your own health insurance, so you're not beholden to some company for health insurance. You can start your own business.
Right.
Still go get a checkup. So I'm just saying, thanks, Obama.
You had a question?
Yes. Has there been a time when, besides you,
Me?
yes,
Oh.
you presented your geeky self and then had backlash for it? And what did you do then? Yeah, because we already know what.
I started my own law firm. That's what I did.
He did say besides you.
I still answer. Don't stray too far, stray kid. Okay, stay.
I can't.
No, because you keep it under wraps, though.
No, I can't
You kind of
think.
do.
No, I don't. I
Kinda.
can't think of anything off the top of my head. I will say.
You've never gone too far.
No, I do go far, but I'm in cosplay right now.
This is an appropriate place, though.
I will say I've had a cosplay company and I've had like all these things. So I love cosplay. When Halloween rolls around, that is my type of year. That is my whole month. I have learned not to show up with the like $5,000 cosplay to the corporate costume contest. That kind of makes everyone a little upset. But I would say that's my biggest thing off the top of my head. Halloween for me is like, I just start killing it in the office and everybody knows I love it.
So they don't want you in the contest because you win.
You're gonna win every
Yeah,
time.
I'm gonna bring things that are just
They're in there like cardboard and tape.
yeah, and
You
I'm
got bespoke outfits.
yeah, I'm over here melting
It was a
stuff.
party city.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the only time I can really remember people being like, okay, man, maybe you didn't have to show up that much, but that's the only thing I can cosplay off the top of my head.
I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I really can't. Like, I know not to show up to like a wedding or a funeral, like just dressed up in geek attire or cosplay, stuff like that. But everybody who knows me knows that I'm geek. I'm kind of low maintenance. I'm gonna just show up and just be how I am. I will say, so I've done like a lot of interviews for other outlets and things like that, and my logo is Blerdography. I'm not wearing the shirt today, but it's Blerdography, has a chibi character on it with a camera, and people take that as, oh, it's an anime shirt thing, when it's actually the branding of my business. So I've done interviews, and like the interviewer or even the comments in their live streams be like, oh, look at his hair, look at he's just wearing a geeky t-shirt, but it's my branding. And like, again, I got locks because I wanted to look like my logo, so it kind of did the branding thing. Took 3 years to grow out. I had the logo before I had the locks, but finally I looked like my logo, and I never felt great.
You look really good. I'm really proud.
Yay for the locks.
Yeah, good work on those 3 years, man.
Thank you.
We just want to end, like, please tell everyone before we wrap up how they can find you so they can follow you on social media.
All right, yeah, I'll go. So again, I'm Mark. I run a little YouTube channel called Blerdography. You can check out Blerdography on YouTube. Also, Blerdography across the board: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Fanbase, nobody's on Fanbase. Blue Sky
Nobody's on
and
Fanbase.
Red Note.
And I'm the Supreme Attorney on all social media platforms. So YouTube, Instagram, don't find my Twitter, thank you, and TikTok.
I'm Christian Ruiz, and if you call a Supreme Law Firm, 90% of the time I will likely pick up, so that's the best way to get in contact with me. I'm on Instagram as the Real Badman93. That's pretty much it. Just call me at Supreme Law Firm. I'll pick up.
And I'm Joy. You don't really need to follow me. I'm just here. But if you do like me, Joyride08 across Threads and Instagram.
That is a very misleading name.
Why?
Joyride.
My name is Joy.
I know that, but like,
I'm so confused.
I know you. No, I'm not thinking like that, but I'm just like,
It's kind of like wearing a
What?
geeky shirt and somebody being like, that's a geeky shirt, not your branding. That's her whole branding right there.
Gotcha. Okay.